So let's talk about Azure Data Factory. So we can do a lot of things in Azure Data Factory. We can create pipelines and we can run the things, but let's start with the very basic demo. And what we are going to do is we will simply keep the files in our storage account. So first I will show you. So I have the storage account, and in this storage account we will have some files. So in your particular folder, let's say I have 4 folders here. So let's say if I have some files in some particular folder, so here I have 2 files related to employee, and if I want to export these files to the Azure SQL server, so this is the source from where we will export the files. And let's say I have SQL server here, so you will need to create a SQL server and a database. So if I open this database, so this is the configuration. You can see the overview. So what you will need, you will simply need 2 things. The first will be the storage account where your files will be stored, and the second one will be SQL server and the database. So in this video what we will do, we will simply export the file from our storage account to the database in the Azure SQL. So let's start. So first what we will need to do, first we will launch the Azure Data Factory Studio, and here we will first create a new pipeline. So I will remove all of this one by one, and we will freshly create new pipeline. So I'm discarding. So let's create a new pipeline, and the name of the pipeline I'm going to give is copy files. So copy files from Azure Data Lake Storage account to Azure SQL. So this is the name of the pipeline, and we will use an activity which is called copy activity. And in this activity we will have 2 things. One will be the source and another things will be destination. So in the source we first need to create a data set which will be used for this activity. So let's say we create a new source. So as we discussed already, source will be our storage account. So we will select the storage account, and the files that we are going to use, it is a CSV file, but we can use other file formats as listed here. So we will use the CSV file, and here we need to select a link service. So I already have a link service, but if you want you can create the new link service. So I am selecting the existing one, and I need to select which file I will use. So in the source I am going to use this file which is employee2, and I will click on OK, and I am selecting the first row. So in our CSV file or in any files we will have the header like the first name, last name. So the very first row will be treated as a header. So it is checked, so we'll keep it at it is. So I will click on OK, and we can also select the import schema as none. So I will click on OK, and here, so this is our source. So this is the source file, and also this time we need to create the sink. So sink means where our data will be stored, I mean the final destination. So we will click on new, and we will select Azure SQL database. So we can search from here Azure SQL. So we can search Azure SQL. We will click on continue, and we can, if you don't have any link connection, we can use Azure SQL as connection. Okay, and we can keep it as import schema as none, and we will click on OK. And here we can we can open this dataset, the Singh dataset. We can click on open, and here we can type the name. We can give the name manually. So let's say schema I'm giving as dbo.emp2. So this will be my table name. So I'm clicking on OK, and now I'm going back to my activity. So again, we are in our pipelines. Again, what we have done already, we have created a source dataset where the file is stored, and we have created a Singh dataset, and in the Singh dataset we have given the table name as emp2, and now we will run the pipeline. So let's run the pipeline, and if this succeeds, then in our database, so it is in progress right now. So if we go to our database, so this is my database, and if I go to the query editor, and so it is asking for the password, so I need to give, so I will provide the password, so I will be able to log in. So the password I provided, I clicked on OK, and I should be logged in. Okay, so I'm logged in, and inside this we have the tables. So I already have one table called dbo.emp. So in this table we will have some record, so we can query. So this is the existing record, but in our data, okay, so it is failing. So we need to see why it is failed. So let's check the Singh dataset. So we have made one mistake, which is table option we have kept as use existing. So we need to select as auto create table, and we will check again, and now we will try to run the pipeline again. So this was the mistake in the Singh dataset. So let's wait, and if it succeeds, then we will have one more table called dbo.emp2. It means the files that we had in our source dataset, it is successfully exported to our destination. So let's wait for a few more seconds, and I think our pipeline should be running successful. So just wait a little, and yes, and it is succeeded. So now if we go to our database and if we refresh, and in the tables you can see we have two tables. So this is the one, and if I run the query, we have the results. So these are the results which available. So we can also do one thing, we can check in the files that we have used. So in my storage account, if I go to containers, and if I go to source, and this is the emp2 which we have used, and here you can see what is the data available. So you can see the very first records, which is one. So you remember when we selected the source dataset, we selected the first row as a header. So this is treated as a header, and you can verify the first record is 198, 199. So if you go to the SQL, you can see this way it is available. So this way we can run many activities. I just showed one of the activity that we can use, and it is the very starting point, very basic thing. So yes, this is a demo, we can say. So let's meet in another video. Thank you.